letting go of perfectionism, letting go of this feeling of I should be like this. When you say I need, or I need to do this, I need to do that, you are living from a state of eine Entscheidung ist eine Scheidung von etwas, und das war auch einfach mega machtvoll. Ich wusste das vorher nicht, weil ich dachte mir so, okay, ich habe meine Ziele, aber wenn du deine Werte nicht kennst, what is your favorite personal development book? Hallo Leute, was geht ab und ganz herzlich willkommen zurück zu meinem Kanal. Welcome to my channel. If you are brand new and watching this for the first time, make sure to subscribe to my channel, guys, and hit that bell button to never miss out on anything from moi. And in today's video, I am so excited. We're gonna go behind the scenes into something top secret that you will see in a moment. But as I'm sure you have seen by the title of this video, we are going to explore my favorite books that I'm currently either reading or the ones that I brought with me to England, because I have a lot of books, guys. I have books that I still have in Australia that I haven't managed to send over. It's been about 3 years. I also have books that I left in Berlin that are some of my favorites as well, but the ones that I brought with me are really meaningful, and they have changed my life tremendously. And some of the books that I'm going to share with you as well are ones that I have started reading recently or that I've picked up recently, and there are many tools and tricks and kind of ideas in these books that I want to share with you, and we are going to explore them. So the books are also in English and German, and I thought to mix this video up a little bit, I'm going to be talking to you about the books in the respective languages. So los geht's, let's get started. So the first two books we're going to have a look at are both from Tony Robbins. So one is in English and one is in German. And the first book I ever read actually from Tony Robbins, or by Tony Robbins, was in German, and it's called Das Power-Prinzip. And this book literally changed my life. As you can see, I'll show you guys up close. I've got notes here at the front. I've got more notes, and I've got a lot of post-its in there as well. And it's quite interesting because when I think about this book, I've probably read it 3 times, and it's one of those books that you really have to take the time to kind of let all the principles and concepts soak in. And it's one of those where you can read a chapter and there are so many activities in there, and it feels like you've just read, I don't know, one whole book in itself. That's what it's like. And it's also quite interesting because das Power-Prinzip, da ich dieses Buch auf Deutsch gelesen habe, jedes Mal, wenn ich irgendjemand so von dem Buch erzählen will oder von den Prinzipien, die in dem Buch drinstehen, will ich das immer auf Deutsch sagen. Und es gibt diese 2 Kapitel, die ich hier mit meinen Post-its markiert habe, über lebende Begriffe und über positive Superwörter. Und wenn ich diese Wörter lese oder im Kopf habe, ich habe die immer auf Deutsch. Also zum Beispiel, ich denke immer so an aufgeregt und wütend und ich stehe vor einer Herausforderung und ich muss das immer so ins Englische übersetzen, wenn ich das jemandem erzählen will, obwohl Englisch eigentlich meine Muttersprache ist. Also ist ganz interessant. Und ja, es gibt auf jeden Fall viele Fragen und Prinzipien, Konzepte, die auch bildlich dargestellt werden, so wie hier zum Beispiel. Und das Wichtigste, was ich von dem Buch mitgenommen habe, ich glaube, also 2 Sachen, die mir wirklich im Kopf geblieben sind. Nummer 1, neurolinguistisches Programmieren. Und zu dem Thema werden wir gleich kommen. Aber das zweite war wirklich, also über Werte. Und ich habe mir wirklich sehr viel Zeit genommen, also auch letzte Woche, aber auch beim ersten Mal, wo ich das Buch gelesen habe, um mir zu überlegen, was genau meine Werte sind und quasi wie mein Leben sich nach meinen Werten richtet. Und ich wusste das vorher nicht, weil ich dachte mir so, okay, ich habe meine Ziele, aber wenn du deine Werte nicht kennst, dann wie weißt du, dass deine Ziele auch wirklich für dich sind und nicht die Ziele von jemand anderen? Ja, and the next one, this one was the second one I read. This one was less of a book that you kind of work with, that was my opinion, but it definitely is an amazing book. And he talks about disengaging from your limitations and about kind of auditory visual and kinesthetic communication, which is definitely something I still want to look into more, but it kind of tells you a lot about how the world functions and why sometimes, even though we're talking to each other in the same way and using the same words, that we still have miscommunications. Also das nächste Buch hat wirklich mein Leben verändert und es ist das berühmte Buch von Bodo Schäfer, Die Gesetze der Gewinner. Also die Gesetze der Gewinner, wenn man das ins Englische übersetzt, die Laws of Winners, genau, the Laws of Winners. Und basically, dieses Buch habe ich damals Ende 2016 gelesen, genau. Es war ein Geschenk von meinem damaligen Freund und es hat mich wirklich dazu inspiriert, meine Persönlichkeitsentwicklung ernster zu nehmen. Und kurz danach hatte ich meinen Mentor kennengelernt und ich glaube, mit diesem Buch verbinde ich wirklich, ja, sehr viele Übergänge, also Lebensübergänge. Und vor allem, was ich wichtig finde, also die Prinzipien sind so einfach, aber man weiß ja, es ist nicht immer so einfach, die einfachen Dinge umzusetzen. Also zum Beispiel, triff Entscheidungen. Eine Entscheidung ist eine Scheidung von etwas und das war auch einfach mega, mega machtvoll. Lerne und wachse konstant, tu es einfach, werde zu einer Persönlichkeit, geh richtig mit Stress um und was für mich momentan relevant ist, was ich aus diesem Buch mitnehmen kann, ist zum Beispiel gib und vergib und konzentriere dich auf deine Stärken. Also Gesetze der Gewinner kann ich nur empfehlen, Leute. Now the next book is a more recent one out of my collection, and if anyone has ever read Homo Deus or Sapiens, this book is definitely for you. Of course, if you enjoyed it. It is very complex. I will warn you, it is very complex. It's a very thick one, but it's called The 10 Types of Human. And as you can see, I haven't gotten that far in the book, but it's just really one of those that you have to take the time to let everything sink in. It's an amazing story. I won't spoil it too much, but basically it talks about the 10 types of humans within ourselves. So to give you, okay, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. But for example, we all have the perceiver of pain, the ostracizer, the tamer of terror, the beholder, the aggressor, the tribalist, the nurturer, the romancer, the rescuer, and the kinsman within us. And basically, the starting point or the inspiration for this book was to do with the death of a child. And this man kind of asked himself, well, was there anything I could have done? And it's about everything that we are and everything that we could be and want to be as humans. So, the 10 types of humans. Now, the next book is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And I quoted his stuff in my talk in Slovakia, which you guys can check out at the top here. And also in a recent presentation I did about the power of communication and why good communication starts within yourself, which I did at an event in Manchester recently. And basically it's the primary takeaway from this. Also, I've been through this book over and over because it is quite scientific and it gets very complex. So it's definitely for someone who is into psychology and you really want to find out how your brain works. You're not too bothered by statistics as well, because he does mention a few statistics, but it is definitely a great read. It's an international bestseller and it talks basically about System 1 and System 2. And that's kind of the overarching idea behind this book of how our System 1 functions with our System 2, and to notice, I guess, your cognitive processes and when each system is in play and how you can manage that and regulate that, which then ties into the next book, which I bought last December, and this one I have also read twice, is called The Chimp Paradox. Oh my god. So to me, the chimp paradox ties in a little bit with the Freudian ideas of our id, which is our kind of inner child, or the chimp in this book, and our ego and superego. So we each have kind of 3 parts to ourselves, our personalities and our brain. And first of all, the id is kind of like the child. So we have that inner child, which is the whole primitive side of ourselves. So it's the one that controls your sex drives or your sexual urges, the need for food, sleep, water, love, care, all our primitive needs. And then we have another part of us, which is everything that's instilled. So this is your super ego, everything that's instilled in you by society, by your parents, the values, the beliefs, the shoulds and the coulds and all that type of things. And then we have the ego, which is like almost imagine the computer that filters everything, which is what this book explains, but it's kind of the judge or the manager of the two. So let's say I'm really hungry right now, but I know I need to film this video, or I want to film this video. So my my chimp, my inner child is like, Lina, there's food in the fridge over there. Lina, you should eat something. Let's eat. Then comes in my super ego and it's like, no, you are in the middle of doing something. You know that this is not going to work out. You've done this before. Here are the rules that you've picked up. And my ego, which is my manager or the computer, as this book talks about it, and it's going to tell me now, yes, you are hungry. Okay, but you don't have that long to go till you finish this video. Then you can eat afterwards. And everyone is satisfied. So that's kind of something that this book goes into, and it's also really amazing because at the end of each chapter, there's Schudenkud, what a Zufall. There are so many images, it's really kind of animated, as you can see, and there are exercises and questions followed by summary key points. So it's also one of those books to work with, and I think when it comes to self-development, these are the types of books that really make a difference. The ones that you don't just read, because I think we forget about 80% of everything that we read, but it's when you have those questions where you really have to think about things, look at yourself in an honest manner, where true life changes do happen. So coming on to the next two books. This one I read after a heartbreak, and it was during a period of reflection. I really looked into my shadow self, my imperfections, my the things within me that were limiting certain areas of my life or limiting me from thriving in certain areas of life, to be more precise. And I was given this by a good friend, and it's called The Gifts of Imperfection. And she really changed my life. The author, Brené Brown, is a psychologist, and she particularly specialized on the concepts of shame and guilt. And I think that's amazing. She's literally the first person I ever came across who really took those two concepts apart, and it just changed my entire thinking process and the way that I see myself. And just through reading this book and watching her talks online, I really started to learn about practicing real self-love. And those little slip-ups that we make day to day, when you say, oh gosh, that was so stupid. Oh, how could I have done that? I'm so dumb. Oh gosh. Even if you say it as a joke, it all has an effect on you, and it all affects your life, your moods, your relationships, and it's almost like this ripple effect onto everything. And it kind of also ties in with the next book, which is about neuro-linguistic programming, to give it away a little bit. But it's amazing, and really through her I learned how to practice true love, respect, and not just towards myself but towards other people as well. So in this book, The Gifts of Imperfection, she talks about exploring love, belonging. She includes a lot of personal stories and her own journey, which is very inspirational. So she talks also about some topics that are really relevant today, like letting go of perfectionism, letting go of this feeling of I should be like this, and lacking authenticity, so not truly accepting yourself and therefore being authentic. So letting go of comparison and comparing yourself to everybody else, and all these types of things that really are so relevant in today's world. Now, coming on to the next book, it is about NLP, and I've talked about this so many times. I really am fascinated by everything to do with NLP, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So this book I picked up the other day, and it's called NLP at Work. This is really the first book that I've kind of seen that almost has like a textbook element to it. So it has so many exercises, explanations, it has little tips on the side as well, which you'll see here, shortcuts. It talks about, it really makes you focus more on your metacognition and to think about your thinking and to think about the words that you're using, the language you use for everything, the way that you question, what types of question you use, in which scenario you use those questions. It focuses on clean questions and rich communication, and as you guys know, I absolutely adore communication. I want to help as many people around the world as possible to become more effective communicators in any language, and starting with your own native language. So this is something that I'm really focusing on right now. So for example, a word that I'm really cautious and conscious of at the moment of not using as much is I need. Because when you say I need, or I need to do this, I need to do that, you are living from a state of lack. So you are almost like a black hole sucking energy, not only from yourself, but from other people. So what I did, I changed this and I said, I get to. It would be beneficial for me to. I would like to. And just that simple change has had such a huge effect in my life. And that's why I'm really excited to dive in deeper into this book and look at all of the strategies for successful living, because it is possible. Think about it this way. If we become like the people around us, if we start using words that our friends are using, why can't we use that tool to mirror excellence from people that we look up to? So that's a little idea I'm going to leave you with for today and this video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and make sure to like this video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below which book did you like out of my collection, which ones do you have perhaps, which ones have you read, and what is your favorite personal development book.